Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. Little me wants to say hello too. So, I just finished this book, and by just finished, I mean like this morning before I got ready, I read the last chapter and the epilogue, and I have some things to say. I wish that I thought about reviewing this book when I first started reading it. I would have put in sticky notes. This is from my public library, so I can't write in it myself. Support your local libraries. They have so many things that you can do. Great place to start community and just get books, obviously. Like, we all need to read. And at least at mine, there's a limit of up to, I think, 25 or 30 books. I thought that was crazy. But then I thought maybe for teachers or, you know. So, let me get a thumbnail real quick. I'll probably do this again later, but I feel like I always forget the thumbnail. So maybe I'll use one of those. Maybe I won't. We'll see. But The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Now, I'm going to be honest, I was already pretty biased before I even opened the book. I am not a fan of enemies to lovers. It is just something about a man doing you wrong that they can do little to nothing to really redeem themselves. But it does depend on the degree of the hate, because sometimes it's really like annoyance or they just kind of snip back at each other. But I don't read too many enemies to lovers. I haven't really read too many since like my Wattpad days, but even then, not too much, because I do not care for that dynamic that much, especially because it was always kind of extreme and bullying. And I was like, he's not doing enough personally for me to forgive them. Like, yeah, these are characters in and of themselves, but a lot of times when we read, I'm sure many of us can relate, we try and see if we can at least see ourselves in that character and what they're going through. And I just feel like because I can never see myself in that position, forgiving a man who did me so dirty without him groveling at his feet and me torturing him for years, I'm just like, can't do it, can't do it. So I stick with like strangers to lovers and all that stuff. I will read mafia books too before I read enemies to lovers. So yeah, let's just get that out of the way. I am a very biased person. One second, I'm gonna blow my nose because this is crazy. Ooh, I'm back, but it is that, time of year. So, but yeah, so as I was saying, I am not the biggest fan, but I did want to give this a go. I was with my friend at the library and she said book talk were like talking about this book, but the dude like literally hates her. So I was like, oh, I guess I'll just read it. Let's see. I'm trying to get back into reading physical books more like I did when I was younger. But yes, so let's start it. I think I'm gonna go character by character or just situations, but this will kind of be all over the place. I apologize. This is like a rant quick video. Like, I just want to go ahead and put it out there, but if I do book reviews in the future, I definitely will be more organized. So with that being said, I like this book. I do. For a second, I thought I didn't because I was confused where it was going. It took a long minute. Like, I was looking at it and I was like, wait a minute. Why are they still hating each other? And we're like, right here. Like, how are they going to get together in the end? Oh, I forgot to say, but this will be full of spoilers. How will they be together in the end? Because this doesn't look like enough room for groveling to me. Like, that little bit, does he say sorry and she forgives him? I can't see this character doing that. I really can't. Even at the end when they kiss each other and she was like trying to fight herself because she also desired him, she still like thought rationally and she didn't completely let it go to her head, and she kept reminding herself who this man is and what he is capable of. So I really appreciate that. And I was like, yeah, you could even see remnants, like not even remnants, just pure character, like the type of character she is. I don't believe a simple sorry would do. And I'm happy to announce they do not get together at the end. The end actually really surprised me because I feel like a lot of other authors would have kind of sped through that forgiveness portion of it. But anyways, I'll talk about that a little later. So when we first get into it, she is kidnapped by her mother's like previous husband, who I believe is an orc or goblin or something. Whatever, he's green, and he ends up murdering the parents, but kidnapping his daughter and his two somewhat daughters just by association from his previous wife. So he takes them all in, takes them to Fairy. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I kept going back and forth. I think I keep wanting to say Friero from Wicked. So that too. But yeah, and they go there and they live there for years. I'm not entirely sure how old they are supposed to be. I kept switching between like late teens and early 20s just because it seemed like they were still quite naive. They were still going to programs, but it seemed like there were mixed ages in that program. I really didn't understand it. I just kept switching back and forth. So I'm just gonna say that they are in their early 20s. Yeah, I'll just say like they're 20, 19, whatever. But this world is not made for them. Like most of the people there, like the actual humans, the mortals, they are glamored slash enslaved. They are looked down upon. They, and even the daughters, Jude and Tyron, I might look up how to pronounce that. But Jude is the more important one. I don't like her sister. I don't care that she's her twin. So just, I'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, the general is their father, the orc. But even that isn't enough to save them from the cruelty of these people. Granted, they would have been in very like more unfortunate positions. Like she ends up saving this one young lady who has been glamored from Balkans manor or whatever, or hall, and she doesn't even end up making it. She ends up killing herself. But honestly, I can understand, like, she has been not only enslaved for years but mentally enslaved. She hasn't had a thought in years, and all she has been doing is wasting away and doing what she was glamored to do. And I just can't imagine someone going back into the real world after hearing all that. Like, what about your friends, your family, your mental state after that? So I completely understood why she did it. Like, and I understood why Jude did it, even though she herself admits it was a stupid decision. But I understand why she did it. And I don't think it was necessarily stupid. I think she was just, it was kind of like she was kind of trying to save a part of herself, the part that is still very much human despite her being raised by a monster. And they are decent, but they aren't in the best position, but especially after Locke and Tareen start going out secretly. And Locke used to be, okay, so in this friend group, it's kind of like the band kids in high school. It was kind of incestuous, you know, like people swapping each other around. So what's his name? Literally one of the main characters. I'll just say the prince until it pops up in my head. I still don't really care about him. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I don't hate him at the end, but I definitely don't like him. Actually, I do kind of hate him. I take that back. I do kind of hate him. And I, okay, so what was I saying? So Tareen ends up dating Locke secretly, who was with Nasiaka or something. I haven't said these names out loud now that I think about it. But anyways, who is the ex of the prince. So it's like boom, 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 boom. But Locke starts dating Jude publicly while dating Tyrene secretly as a like mask for the real twin that he's like truly after, even though someone did mention that it was probably his plan to have them both, and I do not put that past him. And it's like, okay, I'm going to date you publicly, so my friends think that you are the person that he left their friend for. So she gets more cruel treatment, but Tyrene, she doesn't necessarily get the, like, she's not necessarily left alone, but most of the misfortune is happening to Jude because they believe that is the person that Locke chose against Nazika or whatever. I'll call her Naz, Lil Naz. So Locke is pretending to be interested in Jude because he likes to make stories and he likes to break things, and he's just, I don't like Locke. Even when they were dating, even before it was revealed, I was like, so you're telling me that you're interested in this man who sits up and lets his friends torture you, even if he doesn't go to that extent himself, even if he doesn't do anything cruel himself, he's just looking at you and he's enjoying it and he doesn't stop it until it's already happened. Even the prince, I was like, that one time he like gave her a piece of salt or whatever after she got naked in front of those people because she was glamored, and I'm just like, I don't give a flying, because you watched it happen. You encouraged it by doing nothing. Sometimes they encouraged it by doing something, by making snide remarks. So how am I, a lady who respects herself, and I see the beauty in Jude, and Jude, I love Jude, and she just doesn't deserve this. She is just doing what she has to do. But I just can't. I can't get behind her choice of men because I was like, Locke, girl, I know that you don't have any experience, but that man doesn't care about you. If he did, he would have done more. At least he doesn't care about you to like the extent he should, even though he let you wear his mom's stuff and he told you his sad backstory. All that was part of his game. It was part of the plot in his story. And then the sister, boy, the one person, your twin sister, who also had their parents murdered right in front of them. Your parents as well. Your sister, the only person who truly can come the closest to understanding how you feel in this world as a mortal, as someone who is trying to fit in, because she's trying to fit in too. She's just doing it in a different way. So for you to sit up there and let all these things happen to her, knowing what's going on, it just blows my mind. It blows my mind. And to be your twin sister on top of that, like, all this is bad, obviously, but to be a twin, someone that literally has your same face, and this is what you're doing to them, like you're seeing a completely different being who looks like you, but you're allowing them to go through this type of craziness because of Locke, because to a test of love. What love? This person does not love you. Who would do that? Because that's what you call love. Keep love far away from me. Even when he asked Jude, oh, would you like blah, 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 test of love? And Jude, she was like, well, I don't know. It depends. I'm like, exactly. Because even Jude, she realized that this was not going to be a long relationship. So she does have sense. So I didn't like get too harsh on her for that portion. Because I was like, okay, look, girl, this man's one of your torturers too. Though, yeah, he isn't Cardan. I just remembered, even though he isn't as bad as Cardan and his friends and the Valorian or whatever, the dude she ended up killing, and when she killed him, I was like, yeah, as you should, like, period, because he was threatening her life multiple times. He had a taste for violence, so she gave him violence, which ended his life. And I mean, he asked for it, in my opinion. Like, I am definitely not a victim blamer, but he's a victim that I'm blaming because he wasn't truly a victim. It was in self-defense. So yeah, I really did not feel any which way about that. And I was like, period. And honestly, I was like, oh my goodness, Jude, you finally have just reached that level. Like, they put her through so much that I'm like, no, but like, she deserves this. Like, at the very least, someone has to pay. And it shouldn't stop there, but someone gotta pay. So anyway, yeah, and they have this little brother that came from their stepfather's and his new wife's marriage. But, you know, like, it's okay. The little boy really doesn't have too much to do in the story until the end, but that's just because it's like his bloodline sort of thing, not because he himself is really an active like player on this game. Yeah, but he seems like a cute little kid who hopefully turns out to be a good king once he's back from Earth. Um, only time will tell. But yeah, and I just want to say once again how much I appreciate Jude, because going through these situations, I would kind of imagine, what would I do? What could you realistically do in a lot of these scenarios as well? Because she is a human and they're creatures. They have powers that it's just not equally yoked whatsoever. And one thing that kind of annoyed me throughout the book is how people kept emphasizing that because humans have the ability to lie, it kind of felt like they were almost saying that is worse than the things that they do, because they cannot outright lie with a straight face. It is completely okay how they betray, how they, you know, abuse. I mean, most of the abuse we saw was to a human, so maybe that has something to do with it. But even things that happened were out in the open. It seems like a lot of people were aware that the previous king had favorites. So it's like, okay, well, let's not act like lying is the worst thing in the world when literally your own son killed all, like, his sisters and his freaking dad to be king. Like, oh, please. Oh, please. Lying is like the last thing you guys should be worried about, frankly. Like, yeah, that is what made her a better spy. And another thing, I kind of forgot about Prince Dane until now, but I appreciate him because he gave Jude more power and he gave her a taste of what life could be and to develop her skills. But Prince Dane, in and of himself, I did not have too much of a strong opinion about until he asked her to stab the knife in her hand. And then I was like, okay, definitely more cruelty there than meets the eye. And also, Jude realizes that these people really aren't her friends though. So I kind of like that because she learned a lot from the other spies. She got a rude awakening that, like, she didn't even really trust him from the beginning, I'd say. But I think it just solidified it and pushed her even further that these people truly aren't your friends. You don't know these people, and it doesn't matter how kind they may appear. And I feel like she remembers that when she goes and meets the Robian, I want to say, general of the termites or something along those lines. And though he invites her to eat, she still tries to remember that I know this man and his reputation, so don't let this kind gesture fool you. So I love that. I just really love how a lot of things like come up later, you know, because it just shows like some care. So I genuinely do love this story. I mean, I like this story. I think, though, I didn't want them together. I am a romance reader, so I would have liked for someone to end up together besides for Tarine and Locke, because I don't care about them. And I looked into the next book summary, and it seems like it'll mostly be on their relationship. So I'm just like, I literally could not care less. I need to see Jude and Cardan. How will they live out this 1 year and 1 day servitude? Like, how do they become lovers? And let me just say this, I also do not care for the whole, oh, I did this to you because I love you secretly trope. When I was younger and I used to read books on Wattpad, occasionally I would read man on man, and that was a prevalent trope there too. Like, the kid that a bully would bully was really just because they were interested in them. It gives very much. And that's what you missed on Glee. What's his name? What, Patowski and I can't remember, Twinkle Toes. So I'm just like, I've never liked that trope, but it's just particularly present there, and I just had to put that trope aside altogether, which is also why I don't care for enemies to lovers. I'm like, this person bullied you, this person has pushed you, this person has pushed you in like a river or whatever, this person has done this, that, and the third. I'm like, I don't really care if he gets beat by his brother. Sorry about it. I'm like, yeah, do I think it's wrong? Yes. Do I sympathize with him? Do I empathize with him? Yes, because that's terrible. It's your brother. No one deserves that. And just because he isn't really the greatest person and he doesn't treat mortals that great, I don't think anyone necessarily deserves being beat and being forced to do things that they don't want to do. But with that being said, that does not take away from the fact that this is how he chooses to react to his feelings for Jude, and possibly as a means to garner some power that he doesn't have in his own home. It's just, I really don't care, because like I said, I don't really know their ages, but I just feel like you're old enough and you guys are immortal. So, I mean, granted, you have more time to learn these lessons than mortals do. But, no, you can't do that and expect for me to forgive you. I hope Jude doesn't forgive you easily. Like, I feel that that's where it's going to lead to, but I did not care when they kissed. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, he wants her. Is that why he tortured her for years? Like, I really don't care. Even if it was months, even if it was days, I just feel like, no. So, I do like that they did not end up together in the end. I think that is much more realistic to both of their characters, because though he has admitted that he's attracted to her, he is still just who he is. And I mean, even Locke, when Maddox was saying, no, I don't think he would be fit for you, Jude. I don't think that he's fit for Tareen, blah. And I was just like, yeah, I agree. And I agree with Cardan. And I mean, if this is the character that they are in this moment, no, none of these girls should be with these men. Thirsty with all the talking. But yeah, it's just, would I recommend this book? I'd recommend it, but I would put some disclaimers before someone reads, just so they are a bit more knowledgeable than I was, because I just went into this pretty blind. I'd say that I recommend. Yeah, it was a good read. There is 370 pages. It took me a couple of days to finish this just because it was holidays and I have other hobbies and other things to do. So, and I'm just getting back into reading like books, like physical books that aren't for my college classes. So there's that. But yeah, I'll put my rating somewhere because I haven't actually figured out what I would rate it. We will see. I do not plan on reading the next book, but I don't know. Maybe people in the comments can just spoil it for me. Just disclaimer, this video, the comments might be spoilers. Just keep that in mind. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to continue reading it. But I do want to say one more thing before I go. I might add some more clips when I'm done with this portion if I have anything else to add. But I genuinely did like the ending. Like, okay, I mess with it. I really do. Like, Oak is safe. She completed her plan. Yes, she won't be able to rest, but she's been so used to this, always living on the edge, that I'm sure she'll do well. I'm curious to see how they kind of rule it. And I know Cardan isn't really going to be doing anything. Imagine if I had his name wrong this whole time. I didn't even check. But it definitely leaves it open to keep you interested. So you never know. I don't know if I could have came up with that. I probably would have been dead, not gonna lie. From someone else's hands or my hands. I don't even know. Like, she's better than me. But I feel like if I was in this world and I grew up the way that she grew up, I can definitely see myself turning into this kind of person. If anything, like, as she continued to become a bit more monstrous, I was like, but you gotta do what you gotta do to survive in this world, because these people don't care about you and they're crazy. Like, they really don't care. Me and my twin in the back, like, even your sister doesn't care. Even your sister puts you under the hood for these little forest creatures for a lock. You really can't trust no one. I'm surprised she didn't blow the whole place up, honestly. The only person I really cared for in her family was Vivi. The stepmom, she was okay. She was fine. I like that she gave her warning. You know, she kind of tried. And Oak, I mean, he was just kind of there until the end, and he crowned Cardan. And I was like, okay, period, switch up. But anyways, thank you for watching this video. That is my rant of The Cruel Prince. Let me know how you like this book, what happens in the following series. If you read it, like and subscribe if you would like to see more of these. I would like to do more of these, but that just depends how much I read. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Mwah.